Wow, this is just insane. We have the deputy mayor of Jerusalem claiming that there are no Christians in Gaza, nor any type of Christian church, either Christian or Catholic. Um, it's like, how can you be so disconnected from reality that you are going to try to lie and claim that Christians don't exist in Gaza?
Fleur Hassan Nahum, who's Deputy Mayor of Jerusalem and Israel's Special Envoy for Innovation, who joins me now. Thank you for coming on, Deputy Mayor. If you look at figures that are put out by Hamas that 20,000 people now have been killed in Gaza, is this still a case of self-defense for Israel? Good morning.
Morning.
I like that before she could even like say anything, he came out with a hard-hitting question.
Well, unfortunately it is, and I'll tell you why. The Hamas leadership, you don't have to go much further than them, have said again and again that October 7th is just a dress rehearsal, that we're going to continue to do this. So we're not just talking about numbers on one side and another side.
She is not even attempting to actually answer the question. I can already tell. She, the question is it self-defense when there's so many innocent civilians dying? And she's like, yeah, Hamas this, Hamas that. Like, that's not a justification for killing innocent people.
And I said that about something about that in a second. It's about a threat that continues, which to Israel is an existential threat because these people don't want to meet in the middle. These people have in their charter that they want the complete destruction of the state of Israel. How do you start a negotiating position with people who actually want to destroy you? So that's the first thing.
Right, but the kids and babies and stuff that the Israeli government has been killing, they're not Hamas. So trying to claim that they are Hamas is disingenuous.
The second thing is the numbers that you're talking about, the numbers everybody uses, are numbers that Hamas come out with. And
I
we
did
know
say
that
that.
they can't really be.
But there are also numbers that the Israeli government comes out with and various UN members. So it's not just Hamas saying this, but many nations around the world and even the Israeli government. So she is lying here.
Relied on. I'm not saying there haven't been thousands of dead, but they don't talk about combatants in these numbers, which is funny, isn't it? They don't talk about.
Because these people aren't combatants. When you're shooting kids in the back of the head, how can you claim they're a combatant when you're killing innocent people? Claiming they're combatants doesn't actually justify anything. It's just you trying to make something out of something that isn't there. It's like the United States claiming that the innocent civilians they kill are militants when they're innocent people. It's still a war crime.
About
Well,
combatants, and can we really rely on the numbers of Hamas when Al Shifa Hospital was supposed to have been our attack, and 24 hours later it was
but
discovered to be an attack by themselves, by the
but
Palestinian Islamic Jihad? The numbers went from 500 to
Okay, but what about when the UN speaks of these numbers? How can you deny it then?
26.
but
So
de-
can we really
de-
trust their numbers?
But, Deputy Mayor, what we can know for fact is that there is growing concern, whether it's the head of the Catholic Church, the Pope, whether it's the British Defence Secretary, his German counterpart, or indeed the French Defence Secretary, equivalent Defence Secretary. They're all talking about a ceasefire. Why is it falling on deaf ears, do you suppose?
It's not falling on deaf ears. If a
Well, there was a
ceasefire
strike
meant,
last night that killed 110
well,
people,
let me tell
reportedly.
you, what does a ceasefire mean? If a ceasefire means
Everybody knows what a ceasefire means. It means people stop shooting each other.
the return of the hostages and the dismantlement of a genocidal regime that has stated that they're going to attack us again, then everybody would be in favor of a ceasefire. But if a ceasefire means that we're just going to keep them quiet for a bit until they attack again, then it's Israel's obligation to defend its citizens and destroy that threat, don't you think?
Well, yeah, you're really doing a good job at defending your citizens when you kill them after they escape Hamas and scream for Hebrew for and the IDF just mows them down. That's some good protection there.
Why is it necessary, is reported, to start shooting, having snipers outside a church?
I don't, I saw the reports this morning. The church, there are no churches in Gaza, so I'm not quite sure where the
Well,
report
the,
is.
the,
Yeah, that's a straight up lie. There are like 19 Christian churches, Christian slash Catholic churches in Gaza. So claiming there are no churches is just a straight up lie.
He's talking
there's a
about.
Catholic church in there, isn't there? That is
Yeah,
in the
unfortunately, there are no Christians because they were driven out
well,
by
there are
Hamas.
respectfully there are Christians because I spoke to an MP yesterday who has family members in the church who are Christians.
Well, I
Yeah, there are Christians in Gaza, so it is wild how the spokespeople for the Israeli government just straight up lie about everything and thinks they can get away with it when it's obvious that they're lying. Anybody can check it out.
I don't
Unless
know
you're
what
telling me
happened.
she's
I don't know
wrong.
who was attacked. I didn't see the report. But the problem that we have is
Do,
that Hamas is very, very good at embedding itself with civilians, using civilians.
This is going to be her justification for the murder of innocent people by the Israeli government. Hamas uses human shield, so it's okay to start killing random innocent civilians because who knows if they're Hamas or not.
Many of the civilians came in on October 7th, attacked and raped, and actually took back some of the hostages. Many of the hostages are being held by these innocent civilians. So I really don't know the precise case of what happened at
No, there are no innocent civilians holding people hostage.
the church. Unfortunately, there's a lot of tragedy and mistakes that happen in a war. That the Israeli army killed 3 hostages by mistake 2 days ago. Do you think that doesn't hurt our country?
I
Do you
think
think
Yeah, the Israeli government, the IDF shot 3 hostages that were screaming for help in Hebrew with a white flag. They didn't have a shirt on, so no one could claim they had a bomb vest or anything on, and the IDF still shot them because they considered people surrendering to be a threat.
anybody's
just
happy about this?
no,
Did
well,
anybody want this war here?
When Pope Francis says unarmed civilians are the objects of bombings and shootings, this happened even inside the Holy Family parish complex. When will Israel take note?
There's a big difference between deliberate killing of civilians and the unintentional killing of civilians in the middle of a horrible, ugly.
How can you claim people shooting people that are bunkered down in a church for protection, unintentional killing when they're being intentionally killed by the snipers? It's not the snipers are accidentally killing them or something.
War we did not start and we did not want. And what the other side are using, and this is why they're winning the propaganda war, because people have very little historical context. And the Nazis also used this defense, the Dresden defense. Oh, well, the British killed so many innocent Germans. It's okay that we started the war and we killed all those innocent people. It's a big, big difference legally.
No, that's the defense that the Israeli government is using, that since Hamas killed innocent people, that the Israeli government gets to quote unquote defend itself and kill as many Palestinians as possible.
And morally between unintentional killing in the middle of a horrible war that we didn't want and we didn't
Okay.
start, and the deliberate killing of innocent civilians.
I just felt
But the Israeli government is deliberately killing innocent people when you have snipers shooting people in a church for that are in the church for protection. That is the deliberate killing of innocent people. And I mean, you got tons of evidence of the Israeli government deliberately killing innocent people. So to try to claim that the Israeli government isn't doing that is just straight up lies.